You're listening to the Rough Tumble Podcast.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I didn't realize I knew how much of that song. Fuck it.
We're gonna just skip the sound effects because I'm gonna have to figure that out later. Dude, I'm sorry. I had to build the goddamn studio. We're live.
Helped.
We're recording.
I helped you build the studio, so you didn't do it by yourself.
Yeah, kinda. Like you taped the lights, and homies.
I don't think people understand how hard that was.
Well, anyways, we have a special guest on the Rough Tumble Podcast, Nate Murdock, my good buddy.
Nobody can hear what you're doing with your hands.
Yeah. But we have video now, so you can see it.
So what if they watch it on the podcast or on the YouTube?
Nate, thanks for coming in.
Hi.
Hey. That's gonna be the whole episode. Is hey.
It's just that we're gonna have to ask questions that are based around that answer. Only.
Yeah.
The only thing I would say is when you do talk really close to the microphone.
Talk close. Yeah.
It's an honor to be here.
Because we had TJ Brown on last episode, and he talked mostly from back here.
Okay. And you cannot hear him.
You can move that microphone, by the way.
It moves.
You don't have to
You don't have to move yourself.
Yeah. There you go.
Wow.
You're free to roam. Free range podcasting. That's
Explore
what
the
we like to
space.
call it.
I'm sorry, what?
You don't have to wear the headphones. Can you hear me without talking in the headphones?
What'd you say?
It's super reverbery.
I'm back.
Reverbery.
I hear you.
You can hear me now.
Reverb. It's reverbed. It is really reverb.
Because we're in a very empty room right now, with no kind of we have a blanket up. That's it.
I've always enjoyed the empty room acoustics.
The empty room acoustics.
Well, yeah, but I don't think they're conducive for podcasts. They're mostly conducive for shower singing. Like if you're singing, because I too respect a good echoey room when I'm singing by myself. But it's going to bother me the whole podcast.
Yeah, it will me too. I think it'll clean up in post-production.
Sorry, audience.
Yeah. This is just how episode 17 is.
So, Nate, you drove all the way from Dallas, Texas?
Yeah.
Plano area.
The Plano proper?
Yeah. Northwest Arkansas. Represent. Go Hogs.
Go Hogs. What but I'm not gonna jump in on that one with you, buddy. I don't have that kind of pride, I don't care.
I'm from Louisiana, so
really?
Yeah.
The LSU thing it runs deep.
I just don't give a shit. I'm just neutral party. I'm like Canada. I don't know.
Well, and we talked about that before. I'm not a football fan. I'm not a big jock or anything like that. But being in the military, we travel a lot. And so I was telling Johnny before, I'm a huge LSU fan because it's when I travel the world, I took that with me. Does that make sense? So when I was stationed in Texas, I was a big LSU fan then because it was I was bringing a part of my home with me somewhere else. And it kind of grew from there. So now I'm a huge LSU fan, which we're doing really well this year.
Well, it's you're probably part of that identity crisis group.
Oh, the one we talked about earlier?
Yeah.
I don't have an identity crisis. Fuck you, man. I know exactly who I am.
You're not like that.
I'm whoever Instagram tells me to be.
You're not like that typical you don't really enjoy football, do you really?
I mean,
I've never known you
I
to be that
am not
person.
a huge fan as far as understand knowing the statistics of a lot of different players.
Yeah.
And knowing who's coaching who. I really am not super worried about that, but I respect what the athletes do.
For sure.
And I'm into what they're doing and try to implement some of those things into my life, but I'm not I don't feel like I have enough time to dedicate to that sort of thing.
No, I'm the same way. Like I've got guys I work with that they'll sit around and talk about all the different players, like because they're a bunch of Arkansas fans, obviously, and that's exactly what they'll do. And I'm like, I don't fucking have like, where do you guys learn this much about these people? Like, is there a website out there that just talks about all these people's stuff? Like, I don't know.
Well, there's lots of different things that talk about all that stuff, and I'm not super interested in it. I'd rather just like ride a skateboard or train some jujitsu or something.
That's something that we've talked a lot about on the podcast too. Is just like that's something that's really common. Is I've always thought of it as like the idea to the people that like stray away from the team sports. That kind of person really enjoys a sport like jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, it's true.
Like I couldn't get into team sports because if we lost a game, it was like I didn't lose. Like coach didn't let me play.
Yeah,
you guys lost. I was on the sidelines.
I sat here the whole time.
Still lost, but still I didn't get to do anything.
Jiu-jitsu is a great way for the nerds and the outcasts to excel.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely. It's and it's also been. It's funny that like it's been the flip side of that too. Like it's also let the bullies excel and like the crazy people. You can move that around, dude. If you need to, like, yeah.
I'm sorry, what?
Can you still hear me with the headphones off, Nate?
Hold on, let me put them in.
Are you good? Can you hear me?
Yeah. Oh, it's so much different now.
It kind of is, dude. I can't believe actually that we don't have carpet in here.
It's a huge sound difference.
It's a real big difference,
man.
We really need to take that into account next time.
Maybe if you pull up the hardwood, there'd be carpet underneath.
Oh, it does feel like pretty soft hardwood.
It's never been like that. It's never been the case.
So you guys can hear a big difference from what you're used to hearing right now with these acoustics.
For sure.
See,
I don't know what the end product.
I have nothing to reference it to.
Right. I have no idea what the end product is going to sound like because I haven't heard it.
This is the first one in the new studio.
My magic sauce.
Yeah.
Which, dude, let me get you some more. Let's fix this for you because I know that's driving you crazy.
You feel like you're attached to a leash?
All right. Hello.
We had to.
I just mess with things like nervously anyways. Okay. Thank you.
You got some more room there?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
I'm good. Thank you.
Yes, queen. All right.
Freebird.
You got enough room?
Yeah, I'm good. Okay. I'm good to go. Okay. I can even move mine, like over here, and then I have more, just as long as I don't spill my beer.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Oh, so I guess for people that don't, for anybody that doesn't know, nobody knows. We're in my new house that Bop bought for me because I'm just that. That's your beer. I'm that. I'm looking.
The amount of work you had to do to reach.
Dude, I'm so lost in this place.
You had to reach all the way. Like there was nothing comfortable about that. That didn't even make any sense.
Yeah, but we're in our new house. We have lots of land, and we're working on.
Oh my god! There's no running water, but there's beer.
No running water, but the beer floweth like wine.
I didn't know it was gonna be that loud. It's like everything's so amplified in this room.
Oh, it's bad. I told you everything. We've said this in like seriously the past like 5 episodes. I've said every fucking episode we've done, we've only got noisier because we've stopped giving a shit about like if we hit stuff and then like something else will add to what we're doing and it like makes noise. I'll forget to turn my phone off.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming in a normal podcast.
Are you fucking kidding me? Okay.
What up, Siri?
Okay.
Shout out to my homegirl Siri.
Go ahead. What were you asking?
So like normally you'd want some sound absorbers, like some egg crate stuff.
Yeah.
Like
something soft.
So what, are you gonna put egg crates in here or just like?
We're gonna. Well, Probably gonna start with just one egg crate.
A single crate.
Just like
One egg can fit in this.
I'd like my own personal one if you don't mind.
I just don't want to overdo it. You know? I don't want to put too much to where like it just now there's so many egg crates that it sounds like a whisper.
Nate's egg can be over in the corner.
Because what I'm envisioning is completely decked out in egg crates.
Oh,
Wall to wall, ceiling, floor.
not quite that much.
Yeah. The thing is you can something as simple as hanging pictures on the walls will actually like deaden the sound. It's weird. It's super weird.
You can put like well, the plan is we're just gonna basically frame insulation and put fabric over it, and then make like big squares of that to hang up on the wall, and that
Putting a
deadens
rug.
the sound.
If we put a
Putting
rug
down.
this table, it'll
The
make
difference,
it
honestly, the only difference between this room and the last room we had
carpet.
was the carpet on the floor, and it was a huge difference. Huge. It just makes so much more noise. It's weird. The adventures of podcasting.
I know. So Nate, nobody listening knows who you are. So why don't you talk about
I
yourself?
wouldn't
They
say
know who
that.
I am.
They know who Nate is. If
Well, some of my fans.
if Lizzie's listening, then there's somebody who goddamn knows who Nate is.
So, first and foremost, I'm a child of God. And he has sent me here
I would agree to that.
to be of goodly joy.
Goodly joy.
Yeah.
I can agree with that assessment. Yeah.
No, so I'm a professional MMA fighter. It's something. Well, I'm currently a coach, but I've been a professional MMA fighter.
You dabbled.
Yeah, dabbled.
I would say a lot more than dabbled.
How many fights do you have?
I've had nearly 30 professional fights.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Because TJ had 30 fights. How many have you had?
I've had 30.
That's fucking crazy.
Really?
Yeah. Amateur and professional together has been
That's
30.
That's
Yeah.
so many people to fight. You fought so many people. You guys have fought. You, TJ,
That's the
and
tipping
Johnny
point.
have fought an entire elementary school. It's 100 people.
3rd through 5th grade, we've beaten up those entire classes.
Yeah.
Our opponents weren't that tough, though.
Nate went on like a string of these. He's a lot like when we had TJ on. Nate went on a string of head kick knockouts that and Nate, this is something that you know about yourself, but you are amazingly inflexible. But you made it work, man. You made people eat that kick. And
how'd you get your leg up there with no flexibility?
I just made them put their head down.
Yeah, I was trying to say, like, he didn't have to. They just put their head into it. And like one of the worst knockouts I've ever seen. I forgot. I told you I meant to show it to you. We need to pull it up later.
Oh yeah.
What was it? What was that guy's name? Was it Kevin?
Kevin Frazier.
Yeah.
That is no longer on YouTube.
Really?
I don't know why.
That's been taken down?
Yeah. I'm
Oh
so
my
sorry.
God.
Isn't that sad?
Wow.
But what you don't see on that video, what doesn't show on the YouTube video, and like, where did it say his name? But I really, we did say his name, but I really didn't want to say his name.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay, no problem.
Yeah, we won't edit it out. So.
But he had a seizure in there.
Yeah.
And after the knockout, and then didn't breathe for like over a minute. It was crazy.
Yeah.
So I've never seen anything like that happen.
So you are so good at head kicks that you gave a guy epilepsy.
Well, I'm so good at getting people to throw their head down into my leg.
Yeah. That's exactly what happened with him.
That's
He absolutely
crazy.
did. That was a horrific knockout, and I remember I was really new to training whenever that happened. And I remember coming in, and all I could think about was like, that would really fuck me up to be on the giving side of that, to to see the real life consequences of what's going on. I remember asking you about that, like, are you good, dude? You know, like,
dude, I remember you asking me about it.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking it really didn't faze me, honestly, at that point in time. I think it would have fazed me a little bit more on the receiving side. Maybe not, because I was just like kind of an idiot, basically like I am now, honestly. But it's like I learned so slowly on things, and I was not, I was not too worried about it for some reason. Like, I was still celebrative that evening. It didn't even bother me that evening very much.
Yeah.
For some reason. And you would think it would, but I guess I'm just a heartless bastard.
Not at all. Absolutely not.
And you're a black belt in jiu-jitsu as well, right?
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the 3 black belts.
That's right. Do I outrank both you guys?
Are you a one?
The Trace. No, I think Nate got his before you.
When'd you get promoted?
I just recently got promoted to first degree.
Oh, so you definitely outranked me. I won't get my
So
first
suck
degree.
on that dong, Mitch.
I didn't know we were in the presence of greatness.
Yeah. Os.
Os. Os.
Yeah, and a lot of, like, I think it was in a really early time in MMA whenever you were still coming up, because you fought in Bellator and, like, when they were first Bellator, when they first started as Bellator.
Nice. So like in the early, like mid 2000s, like 2006, 2005 time frame?
I guess it was.
It might have been a little bit later than that.
Maybe like 8. Because my buddy Mike Braswell fought on Bellator when they first started coming up, and I think it was like 2007, 2008 time frame. And
that sounds about right.
Because I know a lot of people, a lot of organizations were making a run at the UFC. Because you remember, was it Affliction? One of those companies it was a clothing company that had their own fight show also. But they had pulled like Fedor over to it. It didn't last.
It was Affliction, probably.
Affliction, yeah. It only lasted like a year.
They had like two or 3 fights.
And then the UFC bought them out. You know, like those guys are a fucking powerhouse.
Didn't Fedor just fight Quentin Jackson on Bellator or something like that?
Did he really? Did that happen?
I think
that sounds like something that you would do like on the UFC fighting game.
Yeah. Did that really happen?
I'm pretty sure I saw that happening on Bellator.
They're getting so ridiculous.
Check that out.
We need like
check if do we check things on?
Yeah. Hey, Larry, will you pull that up real quick?
Can you run that tape?
Yeah. I'll look it up real quick.
Speaking of which,
Larry's asleep again.
He's always asleep. I was listening to the Joe Rogan podcast with Max Holloway, and Joe was asking about his stand-up coach and like what he was doing for stand-up and stuff. And Max said that like for the first like couple fights, he would just go play the UFC game and like do certain combos, and if they worked, then he would go practice them. Like, he was dead serious. He was dead serious.
I can see people doing that though, you know.
But look how good he is now.
Wait, no, it's coming up. The fight's coming.
Its way?
The fight's coming up.
Fedor
December
versus
28th.
Jackson.
Fedor versus Rampage Jackson. That's what it says. Michael Chandler versus Sydney Outlaw.
What organization? On Bellator?
Yeah. Michael Page versus Shinsho Anzai. I don't know who these people are.
Is he fighting Young Zeeb?
Young Zeeb. Lorenz Larkin versus somebody else.
I wonder how much they pay. I wonder if Bellator pays more than the UFC.
Dude, at that point, can you imagine? You remember? Okay, we've been talking about stories that we need, like stories that me and Nate have to people that nobody gives a fuck. I don't know what I'm talking about. Nate is my oldest training partner. Yeah. Period. Like when I first came into the gym, he trained me from like day one. Not alone. I had other coaches and other people, but like as far as a training partner, Nate was absolutely my most consistent person, and I think I was that person for you for a while too. But yeah, and so.
Bro, you came in when I had no training partners.
Yeah, because you guys had opened up the new the new gym. So tell me, we've talked a lot about that too on the podcast, because we've both had gyms and opening up stuff, and you being on the professional side, and then coming kind of on the other side of that too. Like you moved from Clarksville,
Tennessee.
No.
Russellville. So
Russellville. That's right.
We trained in Clarksville.
Yeah, go ahead and tell the
lived
story.
in Russellville. And then, I told Caleb that I was thinking about moving out west because that's where my dad lived, and going to train out there. And Caleb told me how they were gonna move to Northwest Arkansas in Bentonville and start a gym, and like he wanted to know if I wanted to be part of that, and I was interested, and so we moved up to Northwest Arkansas. I'm so bad with time, so I don't remember
I'm so bad at that too. Like when it was.
For me, everything was 5 years ago.
That probably was like 2008 or something.
Yeah, I think so.
And then so around like 2010, 2009, 2010 is probably when I was fighting in Bellator at that time.
I think so.
I only had one fight in Bellator, honestly. But anyway. So we moved up to Bentonville and, started from 0 students, and, Caleb, Ashley Sparks, and I did that. And, while I was serving at O'Charlie's restaurant up there, as we were talking about earlier, did you ever come in and get the hookup?
No, I never. I mean, like, we were just becoming friends at that point. Like, I'd come in, we'd come into the gym and we'd train, of course, but like,
I'd hook it up with the smoothies and
I never
extra rolls.
I don't think I ever got the hookup. I remember coming in a couple times and seeing you, and then my parents always told me, like, we saw Nate today at O'Charlie's. They loved seeing people that I know whenever they go out places.
I remember when your mom lost so much freaking weight.
Yeah,
and
she really has.
I saw her and I didn't recognize her
Started
at
hitting
all.
on her.
She's about to have like the skin surgery or whatever to get rid of the excess skin, and it's like she's about to look like a totally different
She's
human
about
being.
to do that right now?
Like in a couple maybe a month.
Okay,
yeah.
Wow.
Pretty cool. Pretty soon.
Were you were a server at O'Charlie's?
Uh-huh.
So I was a busboy at Bennigan's. I don't know if you guys ever remember Bennigan's.
Yes, similar.
Yeah,
I mean, that's basically the same.
It sounds
environment
exactly
type.
the same. But me and my buddy Jeremy were busboys, and so neither one of us smoked, and so we didn't get to have like smoke breaks and stuff, So
that's too bad.
I know. And
you
we would
smoked.
I know. Believe me, we considered.
Could have got a break.
I bet you regret that now, don't you?
Every day of my life. Every day of my life. But I remember like we'd be bussing tables, and we'd have our little aprons on, and
That's cute.
yeah. So we'd have our little Bennigan's aprons on, and when people didn't eat all their like chicken fingers or their rolls, we would put them in our aprons, so that we'd be like, oh, I gotta go to the bathroom, take a break. I gotta go to the bathroom, and then we'd go and like share a stall together and eat our chicken fingers and stuff together. Like
nice.
we'd always go in and be like, hey man, what did you score? What'd you get? And like he'd be like, oh, I got an egg roll, and I'd be like, oh shit, I got a fucking chicken, I got a quesadilla, and then like we'd be like,
I got a half-eaten chicken nugget, bro.
yeah. People are like, that's fucking gross.
I got a pocket full of rice.
Hepatitis as hard as we can.
Yeah.
I did the same.
Nobody, they didn't touch it. There's starving kids in Africa, so.
Dude,
Right. I agree.
how many times have you like played with your food afterwards though, and like fucked around
Never.
with
I
it?
never do that. That's I would never do that.
It's ridiculous.
That's ridiculous assertion.
I was like telling this story that happened at O'Charlie's one time. I mean, yeah, you don't want bugs on your table or anything.
What a great intro.
But the thing is, what the kids were eating there was trash compared to these ants that were crawling on the table, and so they didn't want to pay for or eat the food, which the children's food was free anyway, which was a nightmare on Sundays.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking to myself, that ant has more nutritional value than anything on that freaking plate right there.
I heard they taste like lemon heads. I heard like ants taste like lemon drops. That's what I heard. I've never eaten one before.
When I see an ant up close, like, magnified,
you want to high five
it looks juicy.
Yeah,
it's juicy
and appetizing. I don't want to eat it.
I just see an ant. I'm like, ooh.
I'm serious.
I want to eat that shit up.
No lie.
You'd be so juicy in my mouth.
Good old juicy ants.
So, what would be the top 5 bugs that you would be okay with eating? And you can't say grasshopper.
Oh, I feel like for
grasshopper.
Nate that spectrum is huge. I've seen you eat bugs, Nate.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
you have.
He doesn't even try to try.
I can tell you the stink bug would be low on that list.
Oh, dude, I'm gonna throw
Have you eaten a stink bug before?
No.
Okay.
So, it's good to know that their defense mechanism works.
Okay. So, what's your top 5?
Top 5 bugs that you would eat.
Top 5 tastiest bugs. Go.
You can't say ant. You can't say grasshopper because everybody would do that.
Okay.
I don't think grasshoppers would be good.
Well,
They're
Or cricket.
let's say grubs
Okay.
okay, that's a good one.
and
Yeah.
ants.
No, you
That's
can't say
can't say
ants.
ants.
Oh, I can't say ants.
Yeah.
Because everybody.
Those are
everybody
easy.
would-
Those are too
like-
easy.
But that was my number one choice already.
Okay, we'll give Nate.
Before we even
We'll give
establish
Nate
all
the juicy ants.
Okay.
See now, I think I would
worms.
Worms, yeah.
Would be like in your top 5.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I'd be okay with worms.
I guess so because you don't have to. You could just swallow them. You don't have to chew them up. You just.
Yeah, and it's like kids that have eaten worms.
I'm a kid that ate a worm.
Yeah, yeah. See, like you probably know somebody that ate a worm.
Yeah.
I didn't.
true.
How many?
I didn't
Okay,
eat it. I licked it.
raise your
curiosity.
hand if you've eaten a worm in your entire life. So, 2 out of 3 people statistically have eaten a worm.
Yeah.
There we go.
That's a pretty extensive survey.
Yeah. Science.
Nice little sample you got.
Yeah.
Nice little
So
sample.
far, 2 out of the 2 people I've met that have eaten worms have not died. So
2 out of 2 people.
it's pretty
that
safe.
have
What
not
about
died.
like flies?
I eat a fly.
No.
I eat a fly.
I'm not into flies.
You're not into
They're
them?
kind of gross.
You remember we had a guy that trained at the gym, and he would come in with he would always wear the Rampage chain.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Oh
well,
yes.
He had
I know
like
who you're talking about.
he had like social.
Sweetie pie.
It was social.
His name is Daniel.
He was
was
like
like
challenged.
Yeah.
Oh well, now I feel bad.
It wasn't like I don't know. Like I don't know if it was mentally challenged. It was like
He was a sweetie pie.
yeah, he was a sweetie pie. But I remember one day
But he was retarded.
he
Yes.
I don't know the guy.
But honestly, I really don't know if that's what it was or if he was just like raised really
I think
fucking weird.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
I mean, he thought he was gonna train to. He thought he was training to be a professional fighter, and
Well,
he's
obviously.
absolutely clueless. And
Because he was wearing a chain link fence around his neck.
well, he was into Rampage Jackson.
Was he a
Yeah,
white guy
That
or a
was
black
about.
guy?
That was
White
about.
guy.
He was a white guy.
yeah. What difference
Little
does it
white
make,
guy.
Mitch?
Yeah.
I wasn't being racist.
Mitchell.
Uh-huh.
But one day we were out at we were at a fight party or whatever, like watching fights. And I remember across the table from me, he like catches a fly. He like tried to catch the fly, and then like looks at me, and I'm like, oh my god, don't look at him. And then he like acts like he
No
eats it.
way.
But the fly was like still flying around.
Oh my god.
And like he was telling me about how badass he is, how many flies he eats.
That's hilarious.
I was like, right on, dude.
And so he didn't catch it at all.
No, it was like he was like buzzing around over here, and he's like, and I was like, wow, my decisions that have led me to this point in my life. I'm watching this.
He was just using sleight of hand.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the world he lived in.
Yeah.
It was. There's a lot of
Which
people.
is a wonderful world.
I guess
So
so.
my buddy was coming back from Texas yesterday, and he called me, and he was telling me that they went to a gas station, and they had at the gas station they had glow in the dark condoms and glow in the dark cock rings at the gas station. And then he brought up a good point.
Is that something you can use both of, like at the same time? Do you have to choose, or do you?
Yeah, you can use them both.
Okay.
Well, they counteract each other.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly
They
what
come
a cock ring
together.
is.
Did you use a condom? Yeah, but I also used a cock ring.
No! Now I'm going to have an Asian baby. What? But we were talking about like the fact that if you were using a glow-in-the-dark condom, nobody ever talks about the fact that you have to charge those. So, like, you have to pull it out of the wrapper, and then you'd be like, hold on, I have to go to the kitchen real quick, and then hold it to a light.
Oh, my God. Are you...
No shit.
Otherwise.
Oh, you really do?
Yeah, they don't just glow out
At first, when you said charge, I thought you meant, like, plug it into USB. And I was like, shut the fuck up,
Shut the fuck up. Get the fuck out. I have an iPad.
They're selling those?
No, like... Because all the glow-in-the-dark stuff in the world, like, it has to capture light first.
Yeah, it's capture light first.
So really, if you keep it in your
what if I keep a flashlight in my pocket?
That's the other part. Like, so you're like, hold on 1 second, babe, and then you have to like hold the light on it for a little minute, and then you're like, all right, cool.
There's a reason they call it the flashlight.
But nobody ever talks about like that's like that human experience piece to that. Like, glow in the dark condom is great. But they don't talk about the fact that like you have to. There's this weird moment where you have to take 5 minutes to get it to be a glow in the dark condom.
What are you doing, hon? Hold on, honey. I'm charging.
I'm charging
up the condom.
Charging the condom.
Getting the spermicidal lube activated.
I'm putting milk in it. What?
But which brings up the other point of like, who buys those kind of condoms?
I don't know. Clowns?
I could see like
who buys condoms?
I could see who buys condoms. What?
I think if anybody knows who doesn't buy condoms.
If anybody raise your hand if you've ever had a kid.
Condominiums.
Raise your hand if you have a Mormon amount of kids. Like I have 6 kids. I have a lot of kids.
Yeah, wow. A lot of kids. Yeah.
One of them's not mine. But I let her live in the house with me. So.
Okay.
And the other one he calls his live-in.
The other one is my fiance.
So
she's 4'11".
Yeah, that's true. That's small. I bet she's
just one of the kids.
Just one of the kids.
I had a good point and I totally forgot. You totally made me lose track of what I was talking about.
Don't put that on me.
I'm sorry.
You started talking about your fucking kids again.
You brought it up.
Every time I bring you around, you start drinking and talking about your kids.
Think about it. It'll come back up.
Don't stop trying.
No, it's lost. It's gone. Anyways. So coaching jiu-jitsu, like training, going through the transition of training MMA in a new space like that, how was that? And how did you deal with that mentally?
Oh, exactly. Oh, you're talking about when we first moved up or when I moved down to Fayetteville?
No. I guess both times because you've made 2 transitions like that. Yeah. I'd like to know about both of them for sure.
So, that being said, I've gone through the transition of going to 0 students and having nobody to train with and learning to create an exciting environment with just 1 or 2 people in an environment and how much more difficult that is to do than when you have other people there who kind of know what's going on, and that is extremely valuable to having a successful school. You know what I'm saying? Establishing that first, I want to say, like loyal clientele of advocates who really appreciate your service and product and want to be your advocate. You know what I'm saying? It's super important. So
I think we probably take for granted, like, so training at Westside, we have a ton of black belts, purple belts, brown belts. You've got several brown belts, purple belts that train with you, and I imagine you probably
have a lot of black belts now too.
As well.
Yes.
I have 4.
Dude, can you imagine? Like, I even forget because I started school from scratch before too. Like, you forget what it was like to have those 2 white belts show up for class, and you're like, oh shit, you don't know how to hip escape.
Yeah.
Like I'm literally teaching jujitsu right now. Like, we don't get to have normal conversations. You know, it's a really weird space to live in. Like, to think about like, oh, or having the experienced guys where you as the instructor can go, okay, I'm going to teach the technique, and then I'm going to let the blue and purple belts teach it to the white belts. You know, like where you're like, all right, guys, 1, 2, 3, break, go teach it. And then you get to sit back and just kind of let them show them the movements, you know? Like, I couldn't imagine being just you and 2 white belts, and you're like, all right, guys, first things first, we got to talk about this hip escape. And then they fuck that up for like 45 minutes, you know? And it's like, well, I can't teach you anything else until you figure this part out. Like, I know you want to learn an arm lock, and I know you want to do triangles, but until you can move your ass away from your hips, I can't teach you anything.
Well, I've got a structure when they can't do that, then we do jumping, flying arm bars.
Well, I would those who can't do teach. You know what? I'm going to take away this whole hip escape thing. We're just never going to do it at all. Like,
we start doing heel hooks. That's what we do.
Dude, I've mentioned this before, but like when the whole leg lock thing like took off, there was a large group of grapplers who were killing it in these submission only competitions. Yeah. Because they were doing leg locks a whole lot.
Death Squad?
Not the Death Squad, but a group similar to that. And then I watched them compete at like an IBJJF event where they couldn't do leg locks the same way. Oh. They had no idea. They couldn't defend guard passes and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like they were getting smoked.
It's jiu-jitsu for people who don't know how to jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. It's wild.
Yeah, the whole leg lock thing, some of it's kind of weird. I was actually thinking about this the other day, like, a lot of people are big advocates of like, we train, you know, all style submissions and all. Jesus Christ.
Can't do it quiet. I just want a beer, and it's like, sorry, everybody. People are big advocates of like, we train this style or we allow like all kinds of submissions in the gi. We allow all styles of submissions in all levels. But when I was thinking about it in the gi, at first I agreed with it for a long time, and then I started really thinking about it. But like, if I'm training in the gi, I'm wearing the gi for a purpose, probably to do gi tournaments. Right. The majority of gi tournaments don't allow heel hooks. So what purpose does it serve me to train heel hooks? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just gonna give me another thing that I have to worry about. If you were to come to me and be like, hey, I only do no gi, and like we don't really get to roll that often. Like, do you mind if we just kind of roll no gi style? Yeah, fine. Yeah, cool, whatever. I've got a no gi match coming up. Let's roll that way. But like, if I'm training in the gi and you're training in the gi and like we're training, you know, I'm going to assume that we're adopting that rule set. Yeah. You know? I don't know how you guys feel about it. Like, that's just kind of my random. When you take
out the foot and leg lock game completely, it honestly enriches the rest of the game of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu a little bit.
Yeah.
Because you go for more sweeps, you go for more passes and all that, because you're trying to score points under that rule set rather than just like hit a leg or hit a foot, you know what I'm saying? Which is cool too. I mean, that's very strategic. It's just strategically, it's a different approach. It's almost like a little bit of a different game altogether, a little bit.
Yeah.
It is interesting, like you said, like, because there's obviously the whole goal of jiu-jitsu is to submit someone, right? Like, that's the idea, is like to get them to submit. But so like on one hand, the leg lock game is like perfect because like that's really, you're getting the submission, you're winning the fight with submissions. But so much basic technical knowledge gets ignored in that, in my opinion, because like when you're just falling straight back to a heel hook or to a leg lock or to a honey hole or leg entanglement or whatever, like you're never really advancing your position. And leg locks a lot of times require you to put yourself in a non-dominant position to attack. And so I don't think it's I think you should experience all aspects. But I think from an instructor's standpoint, from like a coach, I think there is some value in limiting leg locks to a certain belt level.
Yeah.
I don't ever want to be that guy, but at the same time, I see there's value because you don't want your students just attacking the legs because they really lose out on like the top control piece, the guard pass piece. You know, like there's a lot of things that you really need your students to know from a well-rounded perspective that they kind of lose in effort of chasing after the leg lock, game. But
and I wouldn't want to like limit anybody to a certain way of practicing necessarily, but the way that I would approach my coaching, I would put more emphasis or more weight on a certain part of the game.
Yeah.
And then like you said, kind of discourage that in the beginning and then say, here you go. But I don't think I would take it away from them.
No, I would. Yeah, exactly. So I think there's a weird line where like it's one of those things where you're doing it for the benefit of the student, but you also don't want to make the student feel like they have to do certain. You want them to explore the space.
Yes.
Like you want them to explore the whole game, and you don't want to be that instructor that says, "No, we don't do that here."
Right.
I usually just tell my students, I'll tell them like, from white to blue, I'm like, don't worry about anything from the belt down. Like, just don't worry about that. I know that later on when they get like 2-3 tips on their belt, they're going to find ankle lock videos on YouTube and they're going to go down that rabbit hole. And
I'm just now finding them. Like, these are awesome.
Yeah, these are great.
How long have these been around?
I'll usually, like, and I'm never going to like, especially when you see people like starting to crack into their own ideas and their own research of that stuff, I'm never going to shut that down on people. So you just kind of let that blossom. That's where you see people start to find their own game too. I think everybody goes through that. I went through a Marcelo Garcia period, and that like shaped my core jiu-jitsu was going through that piece.
I remember, and I was late. I was late on him. You were right on him. Literally.
Yeah. I was all up on Marcelo Garcia's nuts.
No, he was awesome. I mean, he's a freaking legend. But yeah, what are we talking about again?
These kind of get sometimes we're like, oh my god. I was gonna say we do have some people that were asking us questions, but I don't remember. Somebody. Oh yeah. You have a friend that got their brown belt from one of our friends,
Alex Smith. Yeah, Alex.
So we have to give a shout out to Alex Smith.
Yeah, I gave him a shout out on the on Instagram, but Alex is a good buddy of mine who trains at a Haja Gracie affiliate in England. He's actually English. He's in the Royal military. So Alex is going to listen to this and be like, God damn it, Mitch fucked it up again.
No,
yeah, that's my best Alex impression. But so he's in the Royal something or another. I'm only familiar with the Royal Air Force.
Okay.
Because I'm Air Force, and so I've worked with the Royal Air Force. But he is in the infantry for the Royal Infantry.
Okay.
But he got his brown belt from Haja.
The Imperial Army.
I don't know that they're allowed to call it that anymore.
Oh.
I think that once Darth Maul was killed, they stopped calling it that.
Legally,
it's we don't make the rules. It's Lucasfilms, but so he got his brown belt. Sorry, I almost promoted you to black belt, Alex. I'm sorry.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, congratulations. Well, if it's any indication of the effect that we have on the universe,
That's true.
Yeah, usually when people are either on the podcast or have had something to do with the podcast, good fortune comes their way.
Well, the people don't call you the prophet for no reason.
Yeah, I know.
Right.
Yeah, and I haven't had anybody call me that to my face, but
one person. I want. Well, I'll tell you what we tell now all of our guests. You're welcome for coming on our podcast.
Something of great fortune is going to happen.
This isn't us wrapping it up, by the way. We've still got like.
As long as I get a cookie, yeah.
Yeah, you're stuck here for like another hour. But okay, so we had him. He got his brown belt. We had another series that keeps fucking popping up. She's pissing me off.
What's she talking about?
She just keeps. She thinks I'm talking to her.
Nope.
Oh, okay. We have.
So I have a political agenda I'd like to push.
Yes. Please tell us.
We actually encourage that.
I'd like to ban all straws throughout the nation.
Do you really passionate about that?
Well, only curly straws because I think they're too silly.
God damn it.
They're pretty silly.
Those are.
If I'm being dead honest with you.
I mean, if we're gonna ban straws, we ought to start with curly straws because that's a huge waste of plastic.
It is
for just silliness.
Look at how much longer they would be. So, yeah, when you add two,
it literally doubles the length.
Yeah. What if there was
but it triples in silliness?
It's still silly either way.
It's still silly.
Oh, you just threw me off completely. I don't know what we're doing.
I'm so sorry.
No, I love it. It's good. That's why we bring you on, Nate. Fuck me. So then we had some suggested content. Maybe
we probably don't have any Patreon subscribers.
No, we don't. We need some new ones.
We were so close to.
Did we shout out Cody Nash? He's one of our. Did we do that already?
He says he got his black belt, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't. Honestly, I don't.
I looked at his Instagram earlier when we were talking about it, and I didn't see a black belt. So
I don't see a black belt. No, I think he was making a joke.
All right, Cody,
about our stuff. But somebody was suggesting some Patreon content of how to start a roll/grip placement, which I think is a pretty good idea.
It's real simple.
Yeah.
You
slap
lunge,
hands, bump fist, and
then slap, bump, and then lunge at their head and wrap them into a headlock. And then you start the match from the headlock position.
You squeeze as hard as you can.
Mm-hmm. You don't stop squeezing until you tear your bicep.
I like where Nate's head's at right now.
I saw that. Were you going toward the rape choke?
I was going to ask a question.
Okay.
All right.
I was going to ask, so you have your pistol grip, right?
Yeah.
What do you call this grip?
I call it a monkey grip.
You call it a monkey?
Oh, you're talking about the hook grip?
You're talking about when you grab
the spear?
Do you ever go thumb in?
That's my preferred.
Fold over right
That's
there.
That's my preferred grip. Yeah, I call it a hook grip.
Hook grip.
I call it rodeo grip.
Rodeo?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to call it a hook
because there's
grip.
not a real definitive name on there. I mean, you got your pistol grip. And
rodeo. And
I do not like the pistol grip. I think the pistol grip is a waste.
I do too, but
Amen, brother.
You know what it does do? Here's what it does do: is it takes away all space in that sleeve.
It does.
But why does it matter? Who cares if you take the space away?
It limits quite a bit of movement.
When you feel somebody who gets
does too.
When you feel somebody who gets a good pistol grip on you, they can keep a tight grip.
That's the problem. Is like there's very few people that can do that. Yeah,
like, I know like 2 people that can do a good.
There was some of those fools in Brazil that were getting some of those pistol grips when we went up to Gracie Barra up in Brazil, down in Brazil, up in the good old North Brazil.
Well, in relation to what?
Yeah,
that's true.
Antarctica. What's below that?
And even in Antarctica, it still technically could be south.
Yeah, true. Anyways, but yeah, they had some pistol grips. Some of those guys had some pistol grips.
I prefer the hook grip. I like the hook grip because
rodeo grip.
So I prefer the rodeo hook grip because it doesn't burn my forearms out.
Dude, if you're gonna call this a pistol grip, you're gonna call this a rodeo grip. If we're gonna keep it in the themes of cowboys, we better fucking keep it. Keep it.
That's fair.
Yeah.
So the rodeo grip, also AKA the hook grip.
So the rodeo
I do
grip.
refer to it as a hook as well.
I get the hooks. I say that because I don't bring up anything to do with hooks unless it's with the feet.
Yeah.
Feet or hooks.
I'm trying to hook and grip less and less.
So you're just using your teeth?
For my fingers. I'm just using...
Just your thumb and pinky?
Yeah. You're just using your chakras?
I control
He's using the power of the chakra.
He's taking the chakra.
If you talk enough, you catch them in an ear triangle where they can't move.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, oh, yeah. That's cool. All right, cool, man. I think you have to keep it some kind of continuity. You know what I'm saying? If we're gonna call,
yeah,
when I grab with my hands, it's a grip.
Mm-hmm.
right? If I grab with my feet, that's a hook. That's how I feel.
But but sometimes you can hook.
You
like
can
when you come over the top and you just hook someone's arm like that. Like,
I'll use it as like a descriptive
that's your sloth
term.
paw.
My sloth paw.
Sloth paw. I like that.
The good old sloth paw.
Let it be known.
We need to. Speaking of which, so if you have time still, because we're gonna be doing this for forever. We do Patreon content, so like people pay us money. We're rich and famous, and things are different now. Yeah. Since the last time you saw me, I drive a Toyota now.
Oh, okay, I've noticed. I said Toyota for life.
Yeah, it's a big deal. I have a wine cellar now.
it's a wine cellar and also the home of the Blair Witch.
Yeah.
1.2 years age.
Yeah.
Johnny just takes bottles of Jack Daniels that he bought today.
Today, put them in there. Moving in from the 3 liquor stores that are down the road from me.
Building
By the way, can I borrow the Jack Daniels to wash my hands?
Yeah. We don't have any water. Sorry, bro.
It's a Jack Daniels bidet.
We have Patreon content, so people when we have guests on.
I don't know what a
stuff,
Patreon is.
It's like people pay like a $5 a month subscription.
Okay.
It's a weird social obligation.
It is kind of weird.
And so they get a date with me.
They can.
They can. Yeah.
Oh.
If you want to date,
do that.
we can listen. We make the rules. We can make up like
So that's
whatever.
that's not worth quite $5 though.
Well, so
It's whatever you
I
think.
want them to get the value.
It's
the
whatever
value.
you think is $5 because this is your month. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I think would be awesome? So
Probably a week with me.
If we're being honest,
A week of me living in their home.
So
a full week with Nate Murdock for $5 a month. You got it, here, ladies and gentlemen.
it's like
You don't know what you've done, Nate. Like you just signed yourself up, buddy.
the whole time Nate's like, "No, you paid for this."
Yeah. You promised you have to be my company. We're friends now. You have to be friends for a whole week.
The whole time Nate's like, "Is this worth $5? Am I meeting your expectations?"
You just get
I'm like, whoa, you were snoring.
But he's like, "You're paying your way to fame. Not covering your travel."
Oh, that's good, man. That's good shit. Woo. So really, what we normally do is film a jiu-jitsu technique. But if you want to donate a week of your time to one of our viewers, you're more than welcome to.
Every time Nate brings him into his house, he's like, "This is where the magic happens." Like
What
an
we
episode
could
of
do,
Cribs.
you know what we could do is give them your FaceTime. Your FaceTime number. And then anytime that they wanted to FaceTime you during the week, you've got to
and you have to answer no matter what. Like that's actually a pretty good one.
Yeah, but I'm scared every time I see myself on FaceTime.
Yeah, me too. I'm always worried about what else they see.
We should make an app that turns your face into like Abe Lincoln. Like just something
Now that I'll do.
Yeah.
You knocked that off.
That's called Snapchat.
Cut that off.
Okay, a jujitsu technique.
Yeah, you can do a jiu-jitsu technique. You could sing a song.
I like
could.
the,
I'll do a. This could be self-defense or it could be MMA.
whatever.
Don't give it away now.
Don't tell us. Yeah, it's a
a
secret. Because the only people that are allowed to see it are those who give us
Now I
money.
want to tell.
Yeah.
Don't tell.
Don't do it. Don't do it, Nate.
Don't you do it.
You get your mouth away from that microphone. Nope. So what else? What else have you just graduated from college too?
2000. I guess it's been 2018. I graduated college.
So last year you graduated.
Yes.
Yeah. And what'd you get your degree
It
in?
wasn't that long ago. Finance and marketing.
Finance and
Which
marketing.
is crazy because like I literally went to school for finance because that's what I was worst at.
Yeah. That's big, man. That's a big move.
I love a challenge.
You know what I'm saying? That's huge, dude. Like, no, who else is gonna do that?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And so,
And then I realized I guess I could have got that education on YouTube.
yeah.
Well, that's the reason I changed my degree, actually, because I was doing.
You changed it to YouTube?
I was doing, yep. I was doing business administration with a emphasis in management, and I was having a conversation with my coach, and he was like, "You're wasting your money. Like you don't need a degree to learn how to run a business. You could just figure, like there's so much other material out there." And I was like, "Yeah, you're right." So then I just changed it to interdisciplinary studies, which is it's a degree where you get to pick 3 concentrations. It's not a real degree. It's just a liberal arts degree is what it is. So my degree is in psychology, sociology, and management.
And I don't know. It's something to be proud of. I am proud of
Having a bachelor's?
Of having a bachelor's
Yeah, dude.
degree.
Where'd you go? Did you go to
U of A.
Nice.
I went to U of A. Yeah,
Nice.
I'm proud of it.
Were you
big
online
time.
or
Yeah, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
did you do online classes or was it on campus?
On campus.
On campus,
Yeah,
all right.
face to face.
That's how I would prefer it if I could do it. Yeah.
Not me, dude.
I
If
did
I were
one
gonna do it.
online class, and guess what it was?
What?
Theater.
Get the fuck
Online.
out of
Really?
here.
Yeah.
That's weird. You just had to study like
Theater
theater
online.
history kind of stuff.
Yeah. And I had to like write plays.
What?
Oh,
Did you write a
okay.
play?
Uh-huh.
What was the
I
one?
cannot remember.
Dude, come on. You got to remember. I don't know.
Oh, you know what? We forgot to bring in here.
What?
I could still bring it in here. My box of
Oh,
treasures.
your box of nostalgia.
Do you guys want
Oh,
to still
yeah,
bring it
yeah.
in here? We should.
Your
Okay.
sleight of hand. Me and Nate will keep this party going while you go get it.
All right, keep her going.
So you don't remember a single play that you wrote? Nate started beatboxing right immediately. It's not that kind of party.
Okay.
You don't remember a single play that you wrote? That's really interesting to me. Like, I would love to know, like, were they like full on, like, so, there's a conspiracy that says that William Shakespeare didn't write any of the plays that he actually got famous for. There's a whole conspiracy about that says that that he stole all those plays and that he didn't write any of them.
Okay.
Yeah. Did you guys learn about that in your theater class?
I did not learn about that, but who knows? He was probably just somebody with, he could have been, just had money and power and was able to take people's material because at that
Maybe
point
he's just
in
a
time-
hustler. Like, you
Yeah.
got to give him credit to the game, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
Because whoever wrote them obviously wasn't doing anything with them.
Uh-huh. And yeah, he knew how to, portray it in the right light and make a
Right.
big production
Obviously.
that was worthy of that attention
Jesus
that it got.
Christ, that box is so loud.
What are we talking about?
I saw like what is it? William Shakespeare abridged. So it's basically like all his famous plays wrapped into one. Each one of them is abridged, and it just goes in rapid fire, boom, play after
Oh,
play
that's
after
cool.
play. Yeah, It was
That'd be
cute.
pretty sweet.
And
Yeah.
there was one main star character who just ripped it up.
All right, you guys ready for this?
Yeah,
Ooh,
yeah.
I'm really hot right now.
You're sweating from walking in the room?
No, I mean my microphone was a lot louder than I thought it was gonna be. So what we have here is my box of nostalgia. Now some of it I've recently added to, so like some of it's kind of just going through my Instagram basically, which is a waste of time. So we'll skip through that stuff. Some of it we get pretty deep into my my earlier years, my formative years.
I can't wait.
We might even find a couple pics of me with black hair.
That's what I'm really looking forward to because you've mentioned that a few times.
I think they're in there.
I'm
I don't
super
know if
stoked.
I've thrown them away or not,
I'm super
honestly.
stoked.
Okay. So we got to weed through some of this MMA stuff, but some of it's Nate's in too, so we got to go through that.
Straight edge for life.
Yo, yeah, dog. Oh, this is a good one to start off on. Boom.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Cage fighting in Clarksville.
Look at that.
Nate is the cover boy.
That's you in the middle?
That's Nate in the middle with the tell me if you can find me.
So is this? We were already training in Northwest Arkansas
Yeah.
at this point in time.
Yeah, and we went back and did a fight.
I don't see you anywhere.
Look to the right of Nate's face.
To the left.
To my right.
Oh.
Man, we could stop there. I've got. Okay, here's.
Why would you say stop there?
Dude, the flying
You gotta
squirrel.
look. You gotta show the camera. Like they can't
Oh, yeah,
see
yeah.
it. Like they get. You gotta.
Can we
go
see
do
it?
They can't see.
I gotta take my. Okay, I'm just gonna leave my headphones
The
off.
flying squirrel.
So
Oh, yeah,
point
yeah.
to you.
Great bell.
You're taking it to the TV. That's awesome.
Boom.
So that's Nate right in the middle, like the biggest guy on the with the belt. Boom,
Oh
and then
my
Jonny
gosh.
Wester is there,
He was so hot.
and then the
right
guy that I
there.
almost got into a fist fight with while I was reffing for AGF
Oh, really? Oh.
is not on that poster.
Here's another picture of us training with Hendo. These
See,
are like some
that's
of these.
that's the Johnny I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With I had a.
With the glasses.
Oh yeah, the good old days.
Cutie pies. Cutie pies. My gosh.
Let me see.
You'll have to let me take a screenshot of that so I can show it to Caleb.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
I got choked unconscious on this fight.
Oh,
Who
yeah.
is that?
Let's see that.
Jonny Wester.
Oh, there you are.
I only want to show this one.
Bro, I remember.
For a second there, I
bro,
thought
they've
that
got
was
you
Daniel
on there.
Trimble.
They've got
For a
you on
second.
here 4 times, bro.
Yeah, it's the same poster 4 times.
That's how
This
famous
is Jonny
he was.
Wester versus Jonny Wester. And Jonny Wester versus Jonny Wester.
V3.
I only want to show this one because look how fucking jacked I look,
Dude,
bro.
you're shredded.
Like, look at that.
Wow.
That. So
It's amazing.
What happened?
It's
I don't want to
amazing.
be the guy to say this, but you did lose that fight.
I did,
was
I
was
look.
at that fight.
I
was
look
at that fight.
fucking good.
Dude, you were shredded.
You know what I'm saying?
It's
Like,
amazing what those lights can
So,
do.
if
I
you were
know.
gonna bang one of these two dudes, which one would it be? It'd be
That guy.
Johnny Wester
Or
right
the
here.
Mexican guy right there.
I'd want to
But
pick him
yeah,
up.
I'm
and-
just
Probably.
so funny story about that fight. So I was at that fight, but I didn't know Johnny, right?
You've
so-
told this story like a million times.
Well, fine, I won't fucking tell it.
No, you can go.
No, no, it's
Have
okay.
I heard it?
No, it's okay. It's okay,
have
John.
I heard it?
I'm not gonna make fun of you. Like, no. So what was funny about this is that I was at that fight, right?
Uh-huh.
So I didn't know Johnny yet, but I knew that Johnny had been running an academy. He was a purple belt. We were both purple belts together. Because I had a fan, or not a fan. I had a student that was on that card as well. And I remember I was wearing a T-shirt that said CrossFit Conway on it. And
Everyone made fun of you.
But I thought I caught Johnny eyeballing me.
Uh-huh.
And I remember thinking like, oh, he probably sees that I have this CrossFit Conway shirt on. And he's like, who's this motherfucker?
I might have, yeah.
I think you were. I think
Yeah,
you were eyeballing me.
It's possible. I
Yeah.
really don't know.
I think it was more of a curiosity of like, how is it possible that somebody from Conway that I don't know is at this fight in Tennessee?
That's probably.
I think that was-
That's
yeah.
probably mostly what it
I
was.
think he
so-
was a bi-curious inquisition.
He's like,
Possibility.
yep.
Um.
And then I walked up to him and I said, you don't know this yet, but in 10 years, we're going to start a podcast together. And he was like,
You're kidding me.
Nate.
that never happened.
Oh,
That's-
my God. So that's a joke, huh?
That's a joke.
That's it.
Oh.
We like to crack jokes around here.
We keep it lively.
Yeah. Here's my JoJo bear. I've had this since I was born.
What?
Yeah.
He doesn't even have a nose. That's awesome.
Yeah. So he had a bow tie, and then
You ate it.
no, I would hold it by its bow tie.
Mm.
One time it fell off, and then we never found it again. And then my dog ate its face, and so then my grandma stitched it up. It was a big thing.
Oh.
And yeah, that's in there too.
That's awesome.
Yeah, isn't that great?
Well,
You got, look at this.
so the scars represent.
I got fight of the night, and then my
JoJo bear.
my JoJo bear in the same box.
Oh, are you serious?
Yeah, this is just like things that I've deemed important in my life
Oh.
that we're just going through some nostalgic.
Where was that
Is there
fight of the
items?
night? Is that when you elbowed that dude? Remember when that dude was trying to take you down? And you started
Dude.
chunking elbows to like
Right,
the side of his head.
I
right
was
there,
the
and
first
it's
to
like,
do
look
that.
down.
I did that before anybody. Yeah, I remember that. No, I didn't
was
get
like, whoa, dude.
game
Changing
changer.
the game.
I'm never getting taken down again. Yeah, I remember like this guy. He was a wrestler out of Oklahoma. I don't know exactly where or what, but he kept shooting in on me, And I remembered it was like remarkably hard to stop him from taking me down, but it was really easy for me to get back up. And I literally got taken down like 8 times in that fight and just kept popping back up on the cage.
Oh, really?
And I remember seeing his head like at my hip. And I remember thinking I got elbowed or punched in the ear one time. And I just remember I was like, fuck, that was like the worst pain ever.
Yeah.
And I was like,
I wonder.
Yeah. Well, I remember thinking like, if he's gonna take me down this many times, I'm at least gonna make him remember it tomorrow and like pay for it. And so I was like, fuck this. And I ended up like knocking him down off of it. And
really
then
knocked him out off of it. I mean,
I ended up getting
at that point.
I ended up getting a submission out of it. I knocked him down, and then like he kind of recovered, and I took his back and choked him.
That's
off
fucking
of
I
it.
can't imagine like getting hit in the head repeatedly so many times that you almost lose consciousness.
Yeah, it was
That's fucking
surprising. I thought there's no way I'd knock him out with it, and
So-
it took like 3 or 4.
For you, Nate, like, so I've never fought MMA, so I'm like the odd duck in this conversation. Like I've only trained jiu-jitsu, so there's a lot of things that like I don't understand. You know, like
What's this?
that's a lot of silver medals.
Yeah, some bronze in there too.
I noticed that AGF medal. Shout out to Chris Carlino.
Go
There's a couple
with
in there.
your business.
Oh, I thought that was an Arkansas Invitational, the 2010 ribbon.
It might be.
I bet it is. Is one of those?
This is IKF.
Oh, that's IKEA.
No, I don't.
No, I've got mine still at the house. I need to bring mine. We can all take a look at mine. What is that?
This is from IKF,
So what exactly was IKF?
International Kickboxing Federation.
Okay, because I know you and TJ talked about it, and I was oblivious to what it was.
Yeah, so here was the deal with this is 2018, I took a guy down. He competed, and I met a couple of people there, a couple of girls that compete for an American top team out of Atlanta.
Yeah.
And became friends with them, and like kind of started. Well, I was wrapping all their hands. They ended up coming to Conway and training with me, and like and doing some of that stuff. And so I'm helping them out and whatever. And then 2019, I took down one of my fighters. He ended up getting sick and couldn't fight.
Yep.
But I was still there. I still had some of those girls that were fighting. I helped them out. And then their trainer, like when one of the girls won, that I had helped out, he like gave me this because they'd already won like 3 hats. So he's like, here you go. So it's not necessarily mine, but it was a nice gesture.
Yeah.
of them. Yeah.
It looks like a Bass Pro Shop hat.
Doesn't it? Like they went as absolutely cheap as they could on it. Boy
Your Boy Scout
stuff.
stuff?
Yeah, we've already seen that. In the,
Yeah, we've taken pictures
Arrow
of
of
that.
Light.
Yeah, dude, are you one of the homies?
Life Scout.
Oh yeah, Life Scout right here too.
What's that mean?
You dropped out right before you got your eagle. Sorry, I didn't mean to bring it up, man. I told you don't cry on this episode, bro. We have a bad history with that.
We're good. We're good.
Bring it
Yeah,
back.
honestly, that's kind of truly one of my deepest regrets, and as far as like my childhood, is that I didn't get my Eagle Scout.
So I guess there was this last project that you have to do, and that's the last thing I had to do.
Yeah,
right?
the Eagle
So
Scout project. Yeah.
You had to get all these people involved, which wouldn't have been a bad thing, but for some reason I just didn't want to do that. Like get
Yeah.
a bunch of people involved in this project.
That's a tough age to do it at too.
And for some reason, I was just detoured from that. But like, I don't think I feel that way at this point in time. Like, I think if something, I think at that point in my life, I didn't realize how many people would like to be involved in something cool
Yeah.
that was beneficial, that made them feel good,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and aren't able to do it because a lot of people are just surrounded in shit, dude.
Yeah, dude.
It's crazy.
Yeah, they really are.
I couldn't afford Boy Scouts when I was growing up. I remember I wanted to do it really bad. And the amount of money and time. So my dad was a police officer growing up, and he worked a lot. And so I wanted to do Boy Scouts really bad. I went to the meeting, like the initial meeting and stuff like that. But
Should have been a Mormon. You could have got it for free.
Fingers crossed.
You get Boy Scouts for free?
You get Boy Scouts as a Mormon for free?
Oh yeah.
Get the fuck out of here. Really?
Yeah.
I got a bunch of buddies that are Mormons. I know more Mormons than I realize. Like, that's the crazy part. Two of the people that I work with, they're married. And they're both Mormons together, obviously. And they do Mormon stuff together. But
I was just noting all the noise that I was making.
see, it's not that hard.
I got to the good stuff.
Ooh.
This was my preschool class.
Dozers?
Don't ask me why my face looks like this in this picture. Nate knew me actually. When I first started the gym, I was a preschool teacher.
What was this thing again right there?
Oh, this is when you were a preschool teacher.
One of my preschool students, their parents, when I left, like they just gave me a whole book of their child. So I have that in there. That's kind of weird.
Scary.
But I felt weird throwing it away because they made it for me. And that's
oh my god, dude!
That's my preschool
You look
class.
like you're in. You look like you're one of the students.
Dude, I was in the shit right there. You know what I'm saying? Like,
How old
I
were
was
you here?
young. I was 19, 20 years old right there.
Obviously.
I wasn't even old to drink enough to drink.
So I'm looking at this, and what I love about preschoolers, I shouldn't have said it that way. Who's that woman?
That was my assistant. I was the lead. That woman was
Really?
20. That woman was like 27 years old. I was her boss.
Like, I like looking at, because like you see these kids, and like, you know, I have a lot of kids, and like you see like so many things. So like this girl here, she's just like, he or she, I don't know if it's a guy or a girl, but she's got like this
can't
thug
see it.
lean going on.
Oh yeah, I can't see who it is. Yeah. I think that's Eli.
And then this one's not even looking at the camera.
Yeah, that's Mira. That's who's in this.
Yeah, like,
Dude, that was forever ago.
that's awesome. And then you're overly excited about the
Oh
picture.
my gosh.
You see him?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. You know what we got to do is on the Instagram, we just got to take pictures and put it on the Instagram.
Yeah, we do. That'll come. Here's the real good stuff.
Okay.
This is the gold mine right here.
Oh.
I'm not gonna let you see it. This is me and my homies. We went out rock climbing, out hiking, and woo, this is good.
Are you guys thumbs upping?
I don't know what we're doing, bro.
You guys are all making a fist, but it doesn't make any sense. And I don't know which one is you. Oh, God.
Yeah,
I just found you. I just found you.
I was waiting for it.
Bro.
Here, I'll give you this one.
Oh, my God. So how long were you in the band as Statues Cry Bleeding?
I don't even know what shirt that was.
Oh,
Ooh, this is
dude.
good.
Nice. Love
They don't even look like the kind of guys that would hang out with you.
I know. I had so many friends that were like that. Like I didn't hang out with anybody that looked like
So,
I did. I was
look,
the outcast.
Here's what's funny about this. So
Awesome.
we went and saw a magician in Branson,
I saw that guy. That guy looked
just like you in this picture.
no.
Yes.
He looked like
Chris Angel.
Chris Angel. He looked like the guy. He looked like those. You remember in Beetlejuice when they go into the room and they like stretch their faces out?
Yeah,
That's what that guy looked like.
he did have a
He was
long nose.
creepy.
I did.
Give me those pictures back.
No, I want to show Nate.
One of my
You're
favorite
gonna show Nate
photos-
what?
I'm gonna show Nate the magician and your this.
One of my favorite photos of all time.
Let me see that one.
That
Look.
picture.
Yeah, look. So this is Reza the magician,
Okay.
and then that's the same guy.
Oh my
Let
god.
me see.
Wow.
It's look. It's the same guy.
You son of a bitch, you've done it. Oh, you fucker.
That's awesome.
All right, we got my yearbook. Honestly, I don't even know where I'm at in this yearbook. I might not even be in this
You're
yearbook.
like in the back.
I honestly might not even be in the yearbook, so. I got like a...
So at what range are you at? What's optimal range here? Like here or
Right here. I like to be. I like to
be up on it. Yeah.
You want it here?
You're there.
If you could like put it in your mouth, that's... Oh,
Yeah.
did we never fully shouted out? We never fully shouted out Scott's podcast.
Oh, well, let's do it now.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to get to for forever.
Oh,
is he has a
that's right.
podcast.
Oh.
Okay.
I designed his logo for him.
The hammer.
The hammer cast.
So
Hammer
for the
cast.
technique,
You're
when
on.
I tell the technique,
We're on something.
topic.
Dude, one of my favorite moments of Nate is I hate to bring this up. Nate got knocked out one time.
oh,
And
so sad.
He was banned from sparring, and all you want to do whenever you've been told not to spar or you've been lost a fight. That's really the biggest things when you've lost a fight, is all you want to do is spar and train. And so I remember we all start sparring, and Nate is in the closet, comes out holding all of his gear, but like hanging out the door, and was just, you guys need another partner? Somebody say they needed a partner?
Did somebody say they needed a partner? I heard somebody say they needed a partner.
Yeah. Dude, I died laughing. So many moments like that. There's so many inside jokes.
Were they being serious?
I don't know. I honestly don't at that moment.
I want you to have been being serious. That
I
makes that
probably
funny.
was. I was clueless, bro. I still am absolutely clueless.
Yeah, we both kind of are. Nate and I think, have more inside jokes than probably Lizzie and I. Honestly, Nate's the only person that I have more inside
That's
jokes with.
true.
Yeah.
Do you love jujitsu?
Yeah.
You want to train 13 hours of jujitsu?
we get stuck at these seminars where we're like, they're fucking 8 hours long. You're like, we always made the comparison. Do you like ice cream? And you're like, yeah, I love ice cream. Do you want to eat a whole fucking gallon of it? No, that would make me sick.
Yes.
Like, that would be horrible. And so it's like these jiu-jitsu seminars sometimes go like 8-9 hours long.
And there were days.
Oh, I
Yeah,
know.
we would do whole weekends of them.
Oh,
and
yeah.
we would get these jiu-jitsu
Well,
instructors.
you guys would
that
go
were-
to like those camps in Brazil too.
Oh, the camps in
That was
Brazil are
rough.
pretty rough.
By
Yeah.
the time that you adapted, your body adapted to that amount of training, you were ready to go.
So,
You had to leave.
speaking of inside jokes, I always like to tell. This was one of the turning moments where I decided that if I was going to do a podcast, I wanted to do it with Johnny, and it was weird because like Johnny and I always supported each other's stuff, right? So like,
I love it when he talks about me.
see, and so like,
So that's when you got down on one knee?
yeah, and I was like, Johnny, do you want to do a podcast with me? And he was like, oh my god. I thought you'd never ask. But no, we were, so I don't know if you know Bruno Cesar. So he's one of our buddies who was, he's a Brazilian, owns a Westside BJJ in
Okay.
Little Rock. Well, he was having his like grand opening, right? And Johnny came to support it, which was super awesome. And so we're there, and like Johnny and I are kind of standing next to each other. And it's one of my favorite jokes of all times. I don't even care if Johnny stole it from someone else.
I absolutely did.
It's still, to me, it's still a Johnny joke, and I still tell this to other people as a Johnny joke because it was like, I went home and told Julianne this joke, and she was just like, I don't. What's so funny about it? I was like, do you even know what the fucking? Okay, I'll get to that in a second. But anyway, so we're
Now I
lining.
feel pressure to laugh.
Well, you're gonna laugh. It's.
You probably know it. Nate's probably heard this joke 100 times.
You've probably heard this joke,
Yeah.
right?
All the
So,
you did in the
but
face.
I've never told like the context on the podcast. And so we're lining up at the end of the seminar at the grand opening. We're lining up for like the big picture, right? You know, it's like everybody knows this, right? Every seminar you go to, every grand opening, you've got to do a big picture at the end, right? And everybody wants the black belts here and the brown belts there and the white geese here and the blue geese here, right?
Yeah.
So Hillary
The
Williams.
Brazilians like that.
Oh yeah. So Hillary Williams is like dividing it all up, and Johnny's like standing right next to me, and we're just kind of letting Hillary do her thing. So she's like, "Okay, all the white geese over here, all the blue geese over here," and Johnny like leans over and goes, "This is how the Holocaust started." I was like, Jesus Christ! Like, who makes a Holocaust joke at a jiu-jitsu seminar?
This
And then,
guy.
like, yeah, it was the funniest thing I'd ever heard in my life. I was like, that's fucking awesome.
I'll also stab you at a seminar. We had a seminar in Louisiana that I found one of those self-defense knives, like the rubber knives, you know, and I hid it in my gi. You remember I used to do crap like I hid Skittles in my gi one time because I wanted to like when I pulled my lapel out, I was going to teach like a technique, and I wanted the Skittles to like go flying whenever I pulled it out. Oh, and I had another one where I was like, and then you reach into your pocket and you eat a little bit of your snack. And but yeah, so I had one of the rubber knives in my gi, and he taught a bunch of self-defense stuff. So I snuck up on him at the beginning of my shit, and I was like going into a big spiel as I'm like pulling a knife out, and I stab him in the chest with it.
So like everybody was like kind of like interested because he was like, yeah, he was giving like a serious speech. And the whole time he's like reaching in, and I'm interested too. Like I'm listening, like, yeah, dude, yeah, whatever it is Johnny's saying, like this is interesting. And then he just like, and then you stab him in the chest, and then he stabbed me in the chest. The reason I thought it was so funny was because he had to have that knife in his gi for like 30 minutes, like the dedication to the joke. Like he put it in there and was like, eventually a moment's gonna prize where we're gonna be able to use
like
this.
He free rolled for 9 rounds with that thing.
Well, it's gonna look
fall out.
It's gonna look even more weird if I'm the guy that is visiting and I'm over in the corner pulling a knife out of my gi. Like, well, I guess this joke is over. Like trying to hide it.
That's why we don't want to cross train.
Yeah, that's exactly it. What time are we at? We're like an hour and 30 minutes. Yeah. We're good.
Oh,
you got anything
go hang out with my mama.
But,
we'll bring you back in. We'll get you back to
I
announce.
don't want to come back.
I don't blame you, bro. But yeah, we'll bring you back on and we'll talk about a little bit more in depth about all of that, because I want like you to be able to share what your passion is and what your projects are, all of those things. Okay. That's important to me, and that's all I got. Make sure you check us out on.
Oh, we're finishing up the episode right now?
Are we finishing up the episode?
I don't know. You said we have plenty of time, and then you started closing out the episode.
Oh, no. I was like, we have gone for plenty of time. We can go longer. You want to go longer? I can always talk.
That's awesome.
Part of me wants to keep going. Part of me wants to stop.
I love the fact that Nate doesn't have his headphones in.
Yeah, Nate's been done for half an hour now.
You know,
I've never had somebody do an acoustic podcast.
Nate's been stuck in an ear triangle this whole time.
Guys.
Can you hear me just fine?
Oh, that's better.
I love how we force people to wear headphones in the studio.
Well,
like it makes a damn
podcast.
Right, exactly. It's not going to make a fucking difference whether he wears headphones or not.
Well,
not this acoustic
right.
You know that your voice is coming through clearly.
Yeah.
Into the mic when you.
I can control my sometimes I
stay right up on it. Like I'm always sucking this mic's dick. Like I want to be.
That's why your pop screen smells bad.
Let me taste your mic.
Yeah.
I want to taste your mic.
I got a question for you. Speaking of music, you singing and you're a musically inclined person.
Is that opinion based?
In a very basic way.
But you think about music and you do.
I appreciate. I'm an appreciator.
So I've been playing with ideas about rhythm in jiu-jitsu.
Okay.
And for instance, when I'm rolling, I try to set a metronome for myself. Not like a literal metronome, but like I'm trying to go out of rhythm. Maybe it's the song that's playing or whatever I've decided that pace is going to be. And then I'll hit situations where you get stuck and you obviously can't move at that rate constantly because somebody's fighting against you. Mm-hmm. And I'll hit that. And I've tried to continue little micro movements at that rhythm. And then as soon as I slip out, those movements become bigger, of course, but the rhythm stays the same. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
Do you play with ideas like that?
I think understanding rhythm is so essential, especially in like a striking art. And like when you understand the rhythm, you can break the rhythm.
Would you say that rhythm was a dancer?
I'm stupid.
It's a soul's companion.
There we go.
I was hoping somebody would figure that out.
And striking for sure.
I didn't even know the other words though. That's
everywhere.
Awesome.
Nate knows all the words, I guarantee you.
Rhythm is a dancer. That's awesome.
Yeah. But yeah, the rhythm. This is the rhythm of the night. The night.
It's super.
People, I can't stop now. I can't stop now.
Yeah.
People come to this show for information. Somebody told me they learned shit from watching this.
How is that possible?
You are dumb then.
Oh,
You're not learning
the
anything.
sweet pies. No, we don't mean that, fans.
Sorry, fans.
Like,
I kind of do mean it. I love you guys.
that's why the fans love
If
it.
if there's one thing I am, it's dumb.
Yeah. Yeah, come on. They're supporting these horrible habits.
Oh, I love the rhythm idea though, especially in striking, just the same. And it's cool to tell yourself to stay on rhythm because then you keep moving and you get mobile in a way. Now, getting mobile can like cost you a lot, but I think ultimately if you get mobile and you start getting super sensitive as you're mobile, that's the worst game to deal with. That's the deadliest game to deal with because yeah, people can play really heavy and make your life suck. I mean, there's something to that when the time is there. But I think the future is just the mobility and being able to move as other people move because there's just some people you can't hold down or some people that you're not going to be able to fight against. You just have to move around them.
Yeah, that makes sense. Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I'm into it.
Yeah, I love playing with different ideas and theories on just different ways to approach the game.
I don't do any of that.
You don't? Yeah. Mitch just a smash.
I'm much.
Oh, you're a smasher.
I'm a smasher.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I wish that I wasn't though. Like I wish that I could live in a world where because Jonny and I talk about this. Like we both come from a skateboarding background, so I'm a big proponent and fan of flowing and the flowing aspect of jiu-jitsu. But then so I do like flow rolling. I like the dance of flow rolling.
Yeah.
But at the same time, from a competitive stance, if I'm competing, my goal is to shove my head as far into your head as possible until you give me what I want.
If Mitch was a skateboarder, he'd be like, you remember the live action Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movies when they would skateboard, but all they could do is ollies and kickflips because they're so fucking chunky. They couldn't do anything else smooth.
But they could ollie really high.
Yeah, bro. So, they could get over some curbs, bro.
I want to tell you how close to home you just hit. So when I was a skater, I was one of the only people in my skate crew that could do a reverse pop, a backside pop shove it. And I could not kickflip at all. I never learned to kickflip, but I could heel flip better than anybody on the planet. And so it was just
bulky frame, bro.
Dude, it was weird. I couldn't bring my leg to me, but I could push it away from me. But it's funny because
it's like an alligator.
Yeah. It's I could run up to 22 miles an hour.
Yeah, you can prevent it from opening, but you can't prevent it from closing.
Exactly. That's 100% true, dude. And I had a sickly high ollie. I could ollie this table for sure. Who uses that?
I can't wait to test that. Dude. You know those moments? Have you ever watched people on a video try to do a backflip, and you're thinking why the fuck are you thinking that you can do a backflip?
And then they do it.
Look at you. No, I see people. I'm just why? What? Look at yourself. What told you? And in their head was I used to be able to do a backflip when I was younger, and I've always been worried about when am I gonna hit that moment when I realize I can't do a backflip, but I can run up a wall and do a backflip. I don't do it all the time though.
Yeah,
I do it every once in a while.
I've seen you do that.
Yeah.
It's awesome. You inspired me.
We gotta put that on the Patreon.
Our yoga ball moves. We do sick yoga ball moves, dude. I don't want to find out one day that I'm not able to do those moves.
I'll be able to do those yoga ball moves as an old person.
That moment is just they're upside down thinking oh,
I've made a terrible mistake.
I can't do a backflip anymore. And I don't want to live that moment. I'm scared.
Jonny, at least
what do you do? You run up a wall and then you start thinking, what size wheelchair am I?
Yeah. I had a student that we did, this is a long time ago. I broke out the yoga ball because it was just me and him. And it was this old guy. And I was okay, we can do some low impact stuff on the yoga balls. You won't get hurt. It's injury free. You just kind of move around on the yoga balls. It'll be like an opponent. Literally, I started the timer and I remember seeing it hit 45 seconds in, and he broke his ankle.
Oh my god!
Rolled over on his ankle and broke it. And I was God damn it!
It was just the two of you?
Yeah, it was just the two of us.
The worst.
And so then oh my god! And then it was a big thing every time the yoga balls came out.
I broke my ankle skateboarding one time. And
because you were too clunky and
no, it was actually like I used to be 130 pounds. Like I was a much smaller frame person.
yeah, at 5 years old.
And it wasn't even that cool of a trick because like I did a backside 180 onto a tabletop that went down like a pyramid, and so I was skating backwards. Like I was skating. I'm sorry. You okay?
Mm-hmm.
I was skating fakie down the back of this pyramid, and I got the wobbles real bad, and my back foot slid off, and the rest of my body kept going, and so I snapped my ankle, right? And I had two of my buddies with me. The funniest part about it is like we were all dads, like all of us were like dads who had like started going, you know what? We should give this skateboarding thing a try again.
Yeah.
And it was when I was stationed in Texas, and two of us were skateboarding. And my buddy Derek was rollerblading. And
Oh my God.
He was like,
Yeah.
I know Nate would love that. I love Nate too. Fuck yeah. I know Nate would be all about that.
That sounds
Silly. What a loser.
dope. But yeah, so it was two of us were skateboarding, and then you like look over and Derek's doing like these grinds on his aggressive inlines and stuff like that.
Oh, really?
And, oh yeah, he was doping it up.
They were pretty aggressive inlines.
Super aggressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd call them angry inlines.
He was grinding, if you will, on some of the sick lips, and so I was like, "Hey guys," because it didn't hurt. Like initially, it didn't hurt. Like I snapped my ankle in half, and I said, "Hey, I think I broke my ankle," and they were like, "No," I said, "I think I dislocated my ankle," and they're like, "Is it just? Are you sure it's just dislocated?" I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "You think you guys can pop it back in?" So they came over and they took my shoe off, and like my ankle is like flopped over because it's completely separated from the rest of my leg.
Yeah, dislocated.
Yeah. And so like they keep like they're like, I don't know how we should put this back in, and so they're like, it's just three of us, and they're holding my leg and they're like grinding it into my fibula, you know? And they're just like, does that hurt? I'm like, I don't really feel anything, but I also don't feel like it's slipping back into place. It's so funny. Like, and they let go of it and it just falls over like a dead fucking raccoon. And
I'm like, let me go to the trunk. I'll be right back.
Yeah. And so my buddy's like, I got some popsicle sticks and some duct tape, and I was like, fam, get it.
Yeah.
But
Genius.
I was in my 1999 Honda Accord stick shift, and I had to drive myself to the hospital.
Oh yeah.
And so I was one-legged driving the whole way.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's talent. I live 8 minutes from the skate park now. Guess
So how
who's
many popsicle sticks did he have?
3. It wasn't enough.
That's not
Yeah,
enough.
that's
it
just
wasn't enough.
any more than that would be a suspicious amount of popsicle sticks. What are you doing with all those popsicle sticks?
I heard Timothy McVeigh had 7 popsicle sticks with him when they arrested him.
Well,
so.
Hitler had a pack of 50 for sure.
So you live close to the skate park?
I live 8 minutes from the skate park now. I'm definitely getting a skateboard.
Dude,
It's
I
gonna
hope you
happen.
do. We're gonna have to do that.
So guess who's gonna be in a cast
It's gonna
soon?
be that moment.
Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna find out real quick.
The next episode is gonna be us going, well, Johnny's in a cast.
Yeah. Oh, we're sorry, Johnny can no longer be with us.
That's right.
Oh, just working on my drop-ins.
In a terrible skateboarding accident.
I'm just feeding Johnny.
Yeah.
Because he can't feed himself.
I know.
I'm chewing up bananas and then putting them in Johnny's mouth.
When it's
he's like, come on.
when it'll happen is when I go wakeboarding the next time, probably.
And you decide to do that 180 flip.
And that's when it'll happen. Yeah.
And you get your kappa gets detated.
My kappa gets detated. Yeah. That'll for sure happen. I remember there were times whenever I was like, well, I mean, like I got one more in me. I might as well just fucking do something crazy, and then wake up. Woo! Yeah. Yeah. Those are rough falls on the. It's like concrete.
Some of those guys are just badass, dude. They'll take some huge falls and keep going on the same day on the same
Not
thing.
me, dude.
What scares me the most is like the ACL tears that they have in wakeboarding because your foot is stuck in that.
Yeah.
And if something goes wild, your knee's going to get ripped out.
Mm-hmm. Snowboarding's kind of like
I'm like
that.
a big pussy, dude. Like I've gotten up in the morning to go to work and stub my toe on the edge of my bed, and then I just call into work. I'm like, I'm not coming in today, guys.
Yeah, it's probably the best choice. When you're serving our country, like, what else are you gonna do?
I know. I'm like, look, guys, ISIS won today. Like, I'm not gonna make it today.
What was it I was saying to you earlier? What were we talking about?
Thank you for your service.
Yeah, the thank you for your service thing. I don't remember what I was gonna start saying to people. Oh, well, you know what you got yourself into.
Oh yeah. So for our veteran listeners out there, Jonny made it very clear that he's not thankful for your service because you.
Am not. Don't put that on me.
Because you knew what you were getting into.
No. I don't even remember what it was in reference to. That you couldn't. Veteran. No, it was that you couldn't grow a fucking beard.
Oh, because I'm in the military.
That's what it was. Yeah. And I said, well, you know what you got yourself into.
Right. And then you said, I'm going to start telling every Vietnam veteran you knew what you were getting into.
Yeah. Instead of thank you for your service, that's how I'm just going to respond to
people. I'm not thanking you for shit. You knew what you were
getting into. I'm not going to do that. That's terrible. Don't put that on me.
I don't like when people thank me for my service. I prefer to tell them that they're welcome for my service. So I usually come up to people at like gas stations or whatever and just say, you're welcome.
Have you seen those false valor videos?
Oh, Stolen Valor?
Yeah, Stolen Valor.
Yeah, it's real, dude. It's weird, man, because
but does that really get you that heated, do you think?
I don't get mad about Stolen Valor. But so one, it's actually illegal. Like it's against the law. Right, yeah. Like they've made it against the law to do Stolen Valor.
We used to watch videos of it. You remember?
It just depends.
I think you and I used to watch them.
Like it just depends on.
Why would we watch videos of Stolen Valor?
I feel like we used to watch weird YouTube videos all the time.
For me, it just depends on what it is they're doing. Like what are they
degree?
Claiming? Like what are they claiming? Like for instance, so there's a bar in North Little Rock. It's Area 51 is the name of the bar. Neighbors. It's like a dive bar, and I was there one time. And I heard a guy, he was talking to this girl at the bar. He was an older guy. And, they're talking or whatever. And I kind of overhear him. And he's like, yeah, I prefer to go by my Special Forces call sign.
Oh, God.
And I was like, this motherfucker. Like, that's not a real thing, right?
Yeah.
And here's the reason why I got upset about that. Because I have really good friends who are in the SF community who are actual SF guys, which is Special Forces, which is Army Green Berets. And like these guys have lost their lives, limbs, like they've taken time away from their family, like the amount of sacrifices they've made. And this guy is saying that he was one of them just so he could possibly get laid.
Yeah.
But one of the funniest things, and I'm probably going to get in trouble when this episode comes out. Well, she knows I went. She went. Okay. She knows I went to the strip club.
Hey-yo. Also, 8 minutes down the road for me.
Peaches. Yeah.
Peaches Gentlemen's Club.
So we came back from our deployment in 2016, and one of the stops that we made was in
the strip club.
Well, it was in St. Joe, Nova Scotia. Right?
Okay.
So St. John's. I'm sorry, I always say St. Joe. St. John's, Nova Scotia.
The Nova Scotians are classic strippers,
and they're super nice people.
They're They're stripping people.
They are stripping.
Long line of strippers.
My crew that I was with, my air crew that I was with, they were like, "Hey man, we should go to the strip club because we haven't seen a real boob in so many days, like a couple of months, we should, let's go to the strip club." So we're like, yeah, whatever, it's fine. So we go in there and there's a group of aircraft maintainers, right? They're mechanics.
Ugh, the worst.
The worst.
They're like, we just want to see some boobs.
Worst, right? So we go in there.
With our homies.
But yeah. So what was funny is like, so we are air crew, right? So we are actually like actual air crew members. And so we get in there and we sit down and this lady comes over. She's one of the establishment patron. She's a waitress, but also isn't wearing a shirt. And so she's like, "Oh, what are you guys here for?" And we're like, "Oh, we're just coming back from our deployment." She goes, "Oh, you guys are U.S. military guys?" And we're like, "Yeah." And then she goes, "Are you guys pilots just like those guys?" So we look over, and it's all those aircraft mechanics. And so like we look at them, we're like, "These motherfuckers are not pilots." But then I was like, you know what? It's been a long deployment. Let's just let them have this. So we go, no, we're just mechanics. Those guys are the real heroes.
That's how. See, you just let the terrorists win.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, here's the thing about titties.
They make you think a lot of crazy things.
But I just remember thinking, like, it was so weird. Like, speaking of Stolen Valor, like, in their minds, because they're just mechanics, in their minds, they're like, well, if we tell these strippers that we're pilots, we're like up on the status, like
Yeah.
we're increasing our status. And then,
It's like not that big of a deal.
but we are those people, and we're like, it's not that big a deal.
You never expect it to like run into, like.
Yeah, they didn't expect us to come in.
Oh fuck! There's actual pilots.
Yeah.
Shit.
But it's like we're black belts, right? And we look at that and go, we're not any different than anybody else.
Yeah.
But there are people who look at us and go, oh my God, you're a fucking black belt. And I'm like, I am? Really? Me? Fuck. What did I do? Like, I literally feel zero difference between when I was a purple belt and now that I'm a black belt. I don't feel any different whatsoever.
I feel more attractive, more handsome.
Yeah, but
more intelligent.
You're a hype guy.
Faster, smarter, stronger.
You're literally the $1 million man.
Yeah.
Nate, what about you? When you got promoted to black belt, and you've been a black belt now for 3 years.
Yeah.
So do you feel different from being a black belt versus when you were not a black belt?
Did you, before you were black belt, like when you were purple belt and brown belt, did you teach classes at that point in time?
Yeah, I did.
So I think that's just it. It's like you had already felt that sense of responsibility kind of that comes with the black belt. Because that's, that's what I...
Go on.
That's what I associate with having a black belt.
Continue. I'm listening.
Just that sense of responsibility, where people are going to be watching you and, heeding your word and seeking your wisdom.
Like warming it up? Heeding, like HEADING.
I think people are looking to believe in something.
That's fair.
To a high degree. I mean, that's why so many people are so religious. I mean, we just want something to believe in that makes decision making easier for us and and it's a coping mechanism as well. And so a lot of times you come in that form. Now, if you're not instructing like as a black belt, to me, I wouldn't see it as any different except for bigger target on your back for people to beat you, and people are always trying to beat a black belt. I combat that with letting somebody who's training on the first day tap me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like
nobody
really knows when I'm legitimately tapping.
Right.
So,
you hide it.
It's hidden, so it's all good.
Yeah, most of the time it's like, well, I tried for maybe 25% of that,
right.
And the rest of the time I was kind of letting you work. Or not to sound like that douche, but it's like
you're being a humble bragger right now.
Most of the time I'm talking about with my own students. A lot of my own students, like a lot of them can get me whenever they wanted to, but then a lot of them too,
you got some good players.
Yeah, a lot of them know. Like I have one guy that's like, I told him the other day, I was like, I'm really trying to be faster and not heavier with you because like he's a smaller guy, he's a purple belt and he's fast and he's talented, he's really good, and so I'm like trying to pick up the pace with him. If I match his pace or if I match his pressure level, I feel like he beats me. Because I have a struggle controlling my weight at that level. But whenever I like turn it up at my level, then it's like, okay, well, that was not a problem for me. Does that make sense?
It does. And, one of the biggest things, because we've all owned I'm so sorry.
Yeah, we're going to have to move that.
I keep punching his mic.
It's okay. It's a work in progress. You gotta hit it back.
Every time you hit Johnny's,
I'm gonna hit yours.
Well, we were talking about sleight of hand, and like when you moved yours and mine shook, I was like, "How'd you fucking do that?" He was like, "I thought he did a magic trick, but it was you."
And then Johnny will hit mine.
So yeah, you have to get up and walk around. One of the things that I've dealt with, not personally, but. So I dealt with it personally, and then I dealt with it when in a mentor position was a couple of my buddies who they own their own gyms with their brown belts, and they are the highest ranking people in their gym, right? So they are the highest ranking member and the instructor of their gyms. And then when I train with them, my biggest critique for them is that not one of them, but the other one for sure now, but the other one had the same issue in the beginning. Was you're not moving enough. Like you need to move more. And where that comes from is when you're the top dog in your gym, like you're a brown belt with a bunch of white and blue belts, you can chill and you can play the positions because you know they're not going to catch you. But then when you go and train with other brown belts or black belts, that timing issue is now what's getting you submitted. You know what I mean? And so I've had to work on that with two of my buddies who are both brown belts who are kind of they own their own gym. And I've trained with them. I'm like, dude, you guys got to move more. Like, you're not moving enough. And their biggest thing was like, you're right, man. But the biggest thing is like, I'm so used to being able to play around in these positions because my students can't catch me. So they turtle up and their students can't take their back.
Right. And
they turtle up on me and I'm taking their back,
And a lot of times movement equals energy, using energy and getting yourself into a bad position.
Right. And if you're moving in the right direction at the right speed, so like, if I turtle up out of a position, I'm looking to regain the guard. So my movement is there's as long as you're transitioning at the right times. So when I say you're not moving enough, like my point is like you can't camp out.
Yeah.
It's like I'm like, what the fuck are you doing over there? You can't camp out in a position. So like you can't,
like dominant positions or what?
Well, a guy goes to turtle, right? He turtles up on you. Well, with the white and a blue belt, you can hang out and turtle all day long because their skills aren't enough to be able to crack that egg, right? But like if you and I trained and you turtle up on me, if you stay there long enough with my experience level and my knowledge level, I'm going to eventually crack that egg. And I'm going to end up taking your back or I'm going to force you into a position that puts me in a dominant place. And that's kind of what I was talking with them was like, this whole like being defensive all the time, because you can play defense with your white and blue belts, but with your brown and black belts, you can be defensive, but you have to also be inversely offensive at the same time.
That's a good defense. Talking about a good defense sometimes is a good offense.
Right? Yeah, because you can't attack me if I'm attacking you.
All right.
You have to make a choice. Like,
unless they have real good counterattacks and you're afraid.
And even then, the counterattack is an attack based off of a defense to a counter. You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
So even a counter,
they have to
be on the defense.
Catch up.
Yeah, exactly. So, what you got there, buddy?
Well, you guys were talking about bullshit.
On that note, though, right? When like coaches say, be first, I don't like be first, right? Because then you get yourself into a hurry to be first, and it could be wrong. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
It's like be sensitive, be aware, be in good base, be in good posture, all those things. But like, be first.
Right.
That's my other political agenda.
Don't be first.
Don't be first. So be first into the best position possible. No texting on the job.
A lot of these are the same.
Sorry. It was one of my students. He was asking about a particular situation.
I don't know what face I'm making right there. That
was like your go-to preschool face.
I think we're like laughing, or maybe he's crying.
He looks to be crying.
I don't know. Yeah. This is
I also
a scrapbook.
like that choker you're wearing.
Oh yeah, you'll see that pretty often in here. Here I am organizing children.
You go
here.
sit.
Yep.
This is hilarious.
Pay no attention to the fact that I only wear black long sleeve shirts.
Whatever, guys. I was going through a moment.
Did you have a degree in teaching?
No.
They just let you do it?
Yeah. It wasn't like kindergarten or anything.
You were like at a bus stop?
No, it was preschool.
You were like at a bus stop and they were like, you ever thought about teaching kids?
No, I had a girlfriend that got me into the job, and then
that's a weird way to
I became Montessori certified through that.
Yeah.
And then continued with the work. But I didn't like go to school specifically to be a teacher. Again, here's classic Johnny choker, organizing children. Good times. That's really all I got. It's pretty much the same pictures over and over again.
What are you putting on her hand? Is she putting a glove on?
I was blessing her. Said you're free to go now.
I like what's funny about this picture is that there's a girl putting on a pink jacket. There's also a pink jacket in the background. So then it looks like she's just also hanging from a hook.
There's no telling.
Whoa.
All right, so let's wrap this shit show up.
Show.
I think the audience at home may want to see this one.
They will.
We're gonna take pictures and we're gonna do a collage.
And we have video of it too. Yep.
Boom.
So yep, Nate, thanks for coming on.
Yes,
We
sir.
appreciate it.
It's been fun.
Nate,
Yeah, we're gonna have you on.
You made me
Just
laugh.
getting warmed up.
You made me laugh a whole lot, dude. It was a blast. I'm
Good.
glad you were
Yep.
here.
Honored
Yeah.
to be on here. Yeah.
It's
Thanks for
funny
having
we
me
get different like kinds of episodes out of different people.
Yeah, dude.
Our last one was pretty serious and pretty like I'd say it was like more on like a motivating kind of. TJ's a
Yeah,
very
because TJ
motivating
was super
person.
motivating, and then we get Nate on, and
He's just
he's
like,
not motivating
you
at all."
idiots!
You're like,
what are you doing?
and that's you're right, dude. Because like I'm trying, like the whole time we were talking, like we've been talking for what, like almost 2 hours. Now?
Yeah, 2 hours.
We haven't talked about any fucking thing. Nothing.
No, we've talked
Nothing.
about a lot of things, but nothing mostly. You know what I'm
Nothing.
saying?
Well, I had my 2 political agendas.
Yep.
Yeah.
The silly straws
So
and what was the other one?
We talked about a little bit of stuff. We talked some jiu-jitsu.
It was don't be first.
Don't be first.
Yeah, don't be first.
If you're not first, you're last. We all know that.
There we go.
But I mean, you could be second or third, but you know.
No, but this is a good episode. I like it. I'm happy.
I don't think I've ever. I'm drunk. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah,
with
Mitch
everybody
is drunk.
Well, for next time, give me a script and I'll stick right to
Stick
it.
to the
don't-
script.
We don't
Yeah.
do scripts, man.
We used to plan it out.
We
and
did. Remember,
we talk
like,
about
our
this
first-
every time.
Well,
Yeah.
I'll memorize some poetry then.
Well, I really wish you'd remembered some of your sonnets that you had written for your theater class.
I bet you
I
could
do have
churn
a
out a
poem
song.
I'd like to read, but I may cry.
Do it now.
I bet you could. No,
Can you
I
do it
don't.
right now?
No, I don't want any crying.
Are you gonna really?
That's not
cry?
gonna happen.
You gonna cry?
He might.
Last time I read it, I did.
Yeah, see, I know Nate. I know Nate too well. I don't want it.
We don't take kindly to no crying.
I don't.
Last time I read it, I did cry.
talking about no feelings around here.
Oh man, I know you could close this out with a song.
Can you do that?
That's what we could give.
All that she wants is another baby. She's gone tomorrow, but all that she wants is another baby. Yeah.
Yeah.